business life journey. Let's just quickly draw this out. And we're going to do it as steps here. Now, every now and then, there's these unicorns that come up. They are the exception to the rule, not the rule. So an exception to the rule, someone, they've just come up and within 5 years, they're bloody everywhere. They're usually tech startups, like a Facebook. I mean, Facebook's like 12 years old, unbelievable, right? So they're unicorns. We're going to put them to the side. Most businesses sit in this phase. They're called startups. And a startup can turn anything up to 50K. And they're usually owner managed. This is most businesses in this country, by the way. Most businesses are up to £50,000 worth of revenue. The next one is the struggle. And this is 50 to 300,000. 50 to 300,000. So they're bringing in this sort of revenue and they're burning cash as fast as it comes in. It comes in, out, out. Fast pounds in, fast pounds out. They don't really care though, they're struggling, but they feel all right because they start the business, we've got some sales, hey, we're selling something. Don't care how much we're making, but we've sold something. We are entrepreneurs. At this level, I would say this is 70% of businesses between the startup and the struggle phase. Next phase is the lifestyle, which was the best part of my life, let me tell you that. So these guys are generating between 300,000 and 2 million of sales. And I like to say into their personal bank account, they're doing anything from 60 to £250,000 worth of sales. So at the high end, they could be a high-end consultant. Maybe they're an architect or an accountant, that sort of role, and they're bringing out up to £250,000 at the very top level. They've also got time freedom at this stage. Maybe they own one restaurant, they work in it 4 days a week, 3 days a week, and the restaurant is running efficiently. Or they've got an accountancy practice, or they've started their own solicitors, and they're bringing up to 2 million, maybe £2.5 million worth of sales. That is the sweet spot of business. And the smart thing to do is start going to what I call in my wealth plan here, 50-50. So 50% of that money you can keep, and 50% of that you invest. And you invest into property or stocks and shares or bigger companies. And that money then funds your fun in life. However, if you're entrepreneurial, you don't want to stop there, do you? You want to go into what we call the shit phase. And here is where you go from 2 to 10 million of turnover. And this is a problem because you're no longer a small business, but you're not a big business. You're in this horrible phase called medium-sized business. Very, very tough being a medium-sized business because you start needing the infrastructure and the management of a big, big business. You start needing managers to manage the managers. So the story that I tell about this is you're running your one restaurant here, great life. You open a second restaurant, you're spreading yourself thinly. You think just by doubling the turnover, you're going to double your PBA income. So really, the world is set up to own 1 or 100 or 50 or 20. Owning 2 or 3 or 4 restaurants doesn't 2 or 3 or 4 times your personal bank account income. When we were turning even now it's really tough for me, and I can see that I'm sort of here, but I'm still sort of in the shitty phase, but I'm gonna get there because I've got an end in mind. I invest £1 million a year on managers to manage my stuff. Wow, that was noisy, that bottle of water. I'll just look at you until you feel awkward. Joking. So you go in there and I just thought, this is just a horrible place to be. How do you get through it? Because some people have got through it. Number one, I would never have been able to get through that if I had a family. I've got a little boy now. I would never put myself through the journey of going through a medium-sized business. Never in a million years. I've done it and I've got through and I can see yes, yes, yes. I can see how it gets easier being a big business. Being a medium-sized business, just not fun. Being a big, small lifestyle business, great place to be. So you need to break the £10 million barrier. Anything under that, you're just going to be turning money to feed others. And what happens in a lot of cases, people get here and it's just too much, and then they reduce in size and go back down to lifestyle. Happens all the time. Happens all the time. I know a friend, he had 4 restaurants, he's now got 1. He's happy as Larry, he's making more money than when he had 4 restaurants. The world is not set up, sadly, for medium-sized businesses. There is another way of getting through this, and that is being able to fund it properly. Making sure you fund it. Who loves funding stuff like this? Angel investors, venture capitalists, they love seeing £3-4 million companies. They know if they just put another couple of million, they can turn it into a really big business. Banks do not like funding this. Banks like funding here and here. They do not like here, they do not like here, and they do not like here. SME banks in the UK love this, and they love this. It's just sad. It's really hard to fund a medium-sized business through banking and traditional methods. You need to go and get outside investment, or make sure you've got a big enough cash cow to get you through it. Now, there's some exceptions to the rules, like the unicorns up here, but even in a recruitment business, you can see this in a recruitment business. Yes, 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 yes. Then we need middle management, the recruiters. You take your best recruiters to manage the shit recruiters, and then your best recruiters that bill in the most then are not billing, and that's a disaster. I've seen that happen loads of times. That's actually why we're here. If you've got a really good salesperson in your business that's generating you loads of sales for your business, don't make them managing director of your business. Leave them making sales for your business. Happens all the time as well. I mean, I'm flabbergasted. Oh, this man here, he generated £1 million for our business in profit. Oh, yeah. He now manages it, and he costs us £100,000 a year now, and we've lost the other $1 million. So he costs us 1.1, and he doesn't like managing it. Just because you think he's fantastic because he's bringing loads of sales in for your business, just because they're a great salesman doesn't make them a great manager. And usually that is 2 very separate sets of situations, yeah? Understand the business life journey, and companies are like children. That's the other thing, guys, the process of building a business up, it takes years and years and years. When your business is 11 years old, it's just started secondary school, gang. Just because you think it can read and write now, and it can walk to school on its own, when it gets to 12, 13, it's a teenager! You've got to learn how to cope with that next level of business up. It's not until they leave university. But every year it gets a bit easier, but just be aware they're very similar to children in how long it takes to build a successful organisation.